Say 5 o'clock. I'm Bill Gross, Los Angeles, along with Patricia Castillo.
That's right. Hello, everybody.
And Gustavo Segura.
How you guys doing?
And we're here a week to help you buy your next home, whether you're buying your first home or upgrade home. I'm a real estate broker in Los Angeles. My colleague Patricia Castillo is in the city of
Downey,
the Beverly Hills of the 562.
That's right.
And our good friend Gustavo is a mortgage lender who helps our customers get the best rates, lock in the rates, get pre-approved to get the best results.
How you guys doing? And I'm in Southern California here as well, in Orange County.
Very
in the
nice.
OC.
Yeah.
In the OC, behind the orange curtain, where I grew up. So Patricia's been off for personal reasons. And I think I missed one along the way. For some of you, we've been back together again. A lot of change in the market. How's the market treating you guys today? What do you guys see?
Doing good as far as on the rates. Yesterday we had a little bit of a slight movement upward, but today everything kind of recovered. We had a good day on the wholesale side. I'm seeing FHA, VA, conventional loans under 6%.
Nice.
So for buyers out there, that's good. We're out of the sevens, we're out of the six. If you're taking a look and you're getting quoted on 6+, definitely keep shopping around, because we should be able to get something below 6%, which makes things a lot more affordable.
Well, and don't you shop around, call Gustavo as fast as you can.
Yes, as well. Yes. True.
That's true.
Okay, so rates are now down a bit. There's been a little hiccup, up, down, up, down. Seems to me like a lot of tension in the market. Is that just me, or is that where we're at?
No, I think it's just people are a little nervous right
Yeah.
now, just kind of waiting to see what the new year's going to bring. But that's what buyers were doing last year, was waiting to see what the new year's going to bring. And, here we are. So I think it's all about, the preparation, as we've talked about in this home buyer workshop, and also making sure that you have your ducks lined up, like money is a big thing. I was calling on a couple of listings today for buyers that I have are, looking for specific properties in certain areas. And I found a couple that were notice of default listings. So these are really great opportunities, because obviously the seller has an urgency to sell, and they're really going to look at any and all offers to see which is the best. And so in talking to the listing agent, he was just explaining to me how they were about to accept an offer and come to find out that the buyer had actually exhausted their account and the money that was in there for the earnest money deposit. So they couldn't even accept that offer because the buyer didn't have the money, enough funds sufficient for the earnest money. So of course, once you open escrow, you're going to have your appraisal and home inspection and other reports that you're going to take care of, but you can't do that if you have no money.
Yeah.
So, there's really good opportunities right now if you're prepared and you're a serious buyer. And I think, if for those of us that are really putting in the effort every day, we're going to find those deals for our clients.
What's interesting is, almost without a doubt, whenever I have a listing that goes into escrow, I get called that day or the next day, is it still available? And what I think happens is, there are buyers out there who are looking and they see properties and they feel like, wow, the market's slow, I can take my time. What? It went in escrow? Because I literally put an escrow property in Main Street in Riverside. We accepted an offer. What's today's one? Today's one was yesterday, Tuesday. And I had not one but two different buyers call me saying they want to send offers over. I said, where have you been? It's too late. And
Right.
And so I think there's some of that, as much as buyers would like to see values go down, I think at least here in Southern California, they're not going down that much that fast.
Yeah.
Right? And there's still good demand for property, whatever it is. And I won't get the details of this particular property, but I think we sold it at a really good price. I think there was room. I think buyers have missed out. And but that's the way it goes. So I think we have to make sure that we're not. I know my email every Monday, I put an email and a video on the market, and I would say the last thing we do is pay attention to the news, because I don't know whether you're Democrat or Republican. You probably think the news is wrong. It's worse when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
arguably
absolutely.
worse because we could prove the data. It just doesn't make sense, the things that they say. And I do that over and over again. And it's important to be clear on what's best for you. So,
Yeah.
Patricia, what do you see happening as far as you've had buyers though who got into escrow here recently, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just closed an off-market deal in Baldwin Park. So that was, a really great opportunity for this buyer. She came in, had already started negotiations, and it was like a family, sale. So that one just closed, and the values in Baldwin Park are upwards in 700s right now, borderlining West Covina. But yes, buyers are still getting great deals right now. And I keep pushing them also on the, not pushing, but just really explaining the difference with like the rates in the conventional side and FHA, because you're going to be in the fives if you get an FHA loan.
Yeah.
So, I have a few buyers that I've been looking for properties for them already because they have very specific needs and desires. But the other buyers that are just coming in right now, they're just excited to be able to get into a property because there's less competition at this time of the year, and they're serious buyers. They really need a place to live. What I'm also seeing lately is more of a combination, like multi-generational living, where parents are helping the kids either by them living with them for a short period of time. So the kids are living with the parents for a short period of time to save up that money for a down payment. And I'm also seeing parents that have come to open houses that with that interest of helping their kids to get into a home. So they're using funds that they have set aside over the years, their savings, to help their kids and gift them that money, to get into a home. So there's a lot of different scenarios that I'm seeing right now as far as the way that buyers are getting into homes. It's not just them leaning on their own income. It could be a gift of funds from a family, a gift of equity from a family. And, it's happening. I mean, I'm seeing buyers do it. So it's a really great opportunity right now I would say, for buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the cost of living, right? The home prices. So when you're looking at a 3-5% down or 10%, that could be $50,000-$75,000. So definitely, that's where you need that family support and help out. So you're right, I am seeing that as well. And that's when it's even more important to be able to talk to your lender ahead of time, because they got to make sure that they research, okay, not just the buyer, but it's also where the funds are coming from. They want to make sure they document it, make sure your pre-approval is ready so that there's no surprises in escrow, right? That they have the bank statements to show the money's there, the accounts, so that way you can right away bid on that house and then just keep moving forward right into escrow.
Right. Yeah.
So here we are at the end of the year, and I have real estate agents who walk up to me all the time and tell me, oh my God, it's so slow, nothing's happening. I gotta tell you, I opened an escrow yesterday, took a listing last week, trying to get 1 or 2 deals in escrow still today, tomorrow, Friday, you never know, Monday. I know I've been working, and it seems to me about half the agents aren't working and half the agents are. So what do you see, Gustav? You work with other realtors besides us. About right? Half the agents aren't working, and the ones who are working and doing business?
Yes, I have, as I contact some of my partners, some of them are like, hey, I'm closing out for December.
Yeah.
They're taking that out. And,
They
part of that
in
is
October.
Yeah. And part of that, it could be just because of the purchase price, right? If they sold 1 or 2 that are 1.2, 1.3 million, they're like, hey, I'm good. But, what I tell them is like, well, hey, let's talk about what 2023 looks like. Let's strategize. Let's keep going forward. And there's some that, they're like us. We're here. We're working through it. We know that every day and every call, it matters, right? Every post that we do. So I think we are seeing both sides.
Yeah, and I think that it's funny how those agents will in January tell me, oh my gosh, I can't afford my MLS dues. I can't afford my, this, that. And it's like, well, yeah, because you didn't work in November and December.
Yeah.
And the beginning of January, right? So no judgment. If you can afford the time off, I think it's great. But you got to take care of your responsibilities, I think, first, and make sure you take care of your families. So, Patricia, are you off for the holiday? You closed down here for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, and catching you on vacation on your laptop, sitting around the swimming pool? What's going on with
in
you?
Hawaii somewhere.
Yeah.
No, we're busy. We're working, throughout the end of the year and into the new year. So I'm still, available and not really. I mean, it's a busy time right now. So I love the fact that I'm able to continue working throughout the end of the year and helping people and getting them ready to get to the next step, whether it's getting them ready to purchase a home or, I'm working on a couple of listings right now where there's some repairs that are needed. So we're talking to different contractors and seeing what kind of cosmetic stuff we're going to do, and looking forward to getting those on the market probably early next year in January. So I couldn't take the time off even if I wanted to right now. There's too much to do, and my clients are relying on me right now. So I am available and working every day.
I was out running some errands and I bumped into an investor who I'd met with about a year and a half ago. He never did anything. And he called me and said, let's go to lunch. I said, I'm not going to lunch. I'm working. Call me, text me, do a Zoom call. I'm glad to help you. But well, yeah, but things are slow this time of year. No, they're not. I got escrows to open and contracts to write and things to do. So I'm not working that many hours. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to finish here tonight and be done for the day and spend time with my family. But I think if you put in a reasonable effort, this time of year is the best time for buyers to find deals, been in the market a little longer, there's a little less competition. For sellers,
right,
get a deal locked in and get the terms you want. It's a good time. If you have the time to pay attention to it, this is a good time to get those things done.
Yeah. Buyers right now, they have enough time to go home and think about it, talk to their realtor and lender and see what kind of offer they're going to put together. And so those are the negotiations that are happening right now, because it's not so cutthroat like it was last year and the year before, where you had to practically make the offer right at the open house because it was probably going to be sold in an hour. So, buyers have time to go home, think about it, full comps, look at what they want to offer, and really talk to, both agents to see what kind of compromise they can make on the offer. Maybe you're going to get concessions for closing costs. Maybe you're going to get some movement in the price, but this is a really good opportunity right now to have those conversations and see what kind of, how to leverage this market in your favor. And so this is what really excites me every day about this job is, just being in this industry, helping people is what I really love to do. So I take a little bit of, I would say, I'll shut it down after we end this call as well. But, I'm up early every day and online and on the phone and looking for deals. My clients are looking for specific properties. And so I'm really looking to help them get into the property of their choice, not something that they were basically backed up into a corner to get because of the market.
Yeah.
I think at this time period, like the NFL football playoff season, like there are some teams who are winding down because they did poorly all season and they're going to have the rest of the year off. The good teams are ramping up. This is a good time of year to ramp things up and really launch in next year. So again, I take time off my family and weekends and holidays, but the rest of them is a good time to work. Gustavo, how about you? Yeah. You're a lender. Like you guys don't really work anyhow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I keep harassing him.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things that we all have this pipeline, right? So there's always work, like I mentioned, there's always strategy, there's always something that you do, right? And I always realize that the more you talk to buyers, you're gonna keep seeing what's going on in the market, right? Staying really close to it. So I keep on seeing the opportunity to talk to them about their credit reports, about their down payment, about who else can help them in order to get this house. Can they have a family member co-borrower? So even though we may think that people are like they don't qualify or they're done. We got to keep digging, and the only way we get better at that is by being on the phone or talking to clients and you're just talking to more people, right? Because then they say something that may trigger an opportunity to say, oh, wait, I didn't know you had a son that was in the military. He's a VA, we can get him a VA loan. He can get a house, and all of a sudden it just sparks the opportunity. And today I had a conversation with someone that they co-signed on a car, and it was a pretty heavy, $700 payment, and they have to wait until March in order for that to come off. And it's one of those things that's like, well, we'll talk back in March, but at least I gave them some kind of guidance. So, it's creating that pipeline so that we can then have a better January, February, March. So there's always something to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I don't see any questions in the chat box. I see we have a couple of guests, and then online, I don't see any questions either. And we've got some people on YouTube. Hey, YouTubers, feel free, if you guys are watching YouTube, we're live right now. You can put a question in the chat box and we will respond to it. If you want to respond to who is the best looking of the three, and the other votes won't count. If you have questions, I'll put them there in the chat box. And if you're watching this in recording, we'd love for you to put questions, and either I or Patricia or Gustavo will get back to you with the right answers. So
there you go.
get questions if you're watching this on the recordings, and this goes on to other social media. But feel free to like it, subscribe to it, and let us know how we can help you.
And you get your first vote there.
And Carolina said, Bill. Well, thank you, Carolina. That's very good of you. So, so she asked a question. She laughed. That's because her vote was counted by a machine, and the machine might have misread the ballot. She asked, what's the best time to do home upgrades? That's a good question. So, Patricia, I have my answer, but I'd like to hear yours. When you talk to a home seller and they say, hey, Patricia, we're thinking about upgrading the cabinets, repainting, recarpeting, redoing the paint outside, what's the best answer? What do you tell them?
Well, it really depends on their individual scenario. I mean, if they're looking to get, which sellers usually are, looking to maximize their equity and get the most out of their sale, if you're looking at a property that is in really poor condition, I mean, you're not going to spend a ton of money upgrading the kitchen and remodeling it, because you may very well not recover those expenses. But I would say the lightest, work and that will really refresh a room is just painting, maybe just painting it white, something simple. I would look at the more simple upgrades that aren't going to really break your wallet, because you do want to maximize on that equity. So the other thing is, sometimes just making small changes, like changing the hardware on your kitchen cabinets or your restroom cabinets and making them something that's more of like a timeless look, something that looks really nice and, neutral, because you don't know what the buyer's likings are going to be and what their taste is. So it's really doesn't really make sense to spend money on certain upgrades like flooring, because although that's going to make it look nice when you rip out the carpet and you put in new laminate flooring, that's really going to open up the room and make it beautiful, but the buyer may not like that flooring. And that's exactly what happened with the condo that I closed on in Azusa. The seller had just put in laminate flooring and he was raving about it. And the first thing the buyer said was, we're ripping out the flooring. We don't like it. We don't
Classic.
like this we don't like this great color. It's not trending anymore. They're a younger couple. So
Classic.
they said, this is not our taste. We don't like this. So they're tearing out the brand new flooring that the seller just had his contractor put in.
Classic.
And so this is why I say stick to the more minimal upgrades. If the paint is really in bad condition, well, then a fresh coat of white paint is going to be really inexpensive and it's really going to brighten up the room. And if they want to paint it at that point, at least white is something neutral that they can easily paint over, and it's not going to cost you much. So it really depends on the condition of the home, but I say go for the most minimal upgrades that you can do. Even cleaning, just cleaning and decluttering, that goes a long way. Yeah. Just opening up the room and really showing what space the buyer has, because you want the buyers to envision themselves in a home that they're going to live in and not envision themselves in the seller's home.
So I give a very lot, and that's your style, and I think that was a great explanation. When I get asked that question, I'm typically working with investors, and there's two types of sellers that ask that question. One seller is the one who is telling me that they're going to spend $10,000 because they want $50,000 more in their house. It doesn't work that way. In fact, it only works for fix and flippers because they buy at a cheap price, number one.
Right.
And because two, their improvements are usually done at a wholesale price, not at a retail price. But that's just me talking. There's a great resource I refer customers to called remodeling.hw. It used to be Remodeling Magazine, and HW Housing Wire bought them. And they call this the cost versus value report. And so sellers are always saying, well, how much money if I put in $10,000 will I get back out? And obviously you put in $10,000 and you get back 10,001, it might not be worth the time and trouble. Of course, if you put in 10,000 and get 20,000 back, it probably makes sense. But what you're going to find is virtually every single job, whatever the cost is, the value you get back at sale is just a little bit less. Mm-hmm. And so what I tell people is, unless you're fixing something that's broken, hole in the wall, I mean, maybe like ripped off wallpaper, but you can put a quick coat of paint on and make it look nice.
Right. Or a safety issue, right? That could come back.
Safety, 100%, flaking paint, carpet with holes in it, safety issues. That's different. Fixing, but Patricia said clean up and getting rid of junk. But when it comes time to adding value, upgrades the house, statistically speaking, there's nothing you can do that you can invest $1 and get back $1.50 or more. In fact, you won't get back the dollar you invest. And that's not me saying it. That's this website that gathers data from remodelers. It's oriented towards remodelers as well. This is an industry publication. And so what they're doing is they're saying, look, for example, kitchen remodel, minor kitchen remodel might cost $20,000. You'll get $20,000 back when you sell it. But if you live in the property for 5-10 years, you're going to enjoy a nicer kitchen. And so really the reason to upgrade is early when you're living there to enjoy your upgrades, not because you as a builder or flipper are going to get the money back. Now there's exceptions. Some houses are defective, like the square footage, but there's a bedroom off of another bedroom that if you remodeled it, you might get more usable space. Or maybe a 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, adding a second bathroom is more today's modern standard. So there's exceptions to those rules, but generally, if you're just talking upgrades, making something nicer, it's generally going to cost you money. You're not going to get your money back as a general rule.
Yeah, especially right now, everything is more expensive. Supplies, materials, and
labor.
Trying to find somebody to do the work for you, depending on how extensive it's going to be.
Yeah. Handyman. I had a guy at my house yesterday. Can't believe I had to pay to get the guy to come here and do some stuff.
Yeah, it's the the sign of the times right now. It's not so easy to just say, oh, I'm going to spend, $15,000 on my home and then expect to get like 30,000 back on top of your price. So it just depends on the situation of the seller, what type of, buyer is going to come in and look at that property too. And like you were mentioning, Bill, investors, where they need to come in at a lower price, not retail, because obviously they're looking at that profit margin as well. So it has to make sense.
You're welcome, Caroline. I'm glad I was able to help you. And if you can change your vote, you can. Feel free to allow you to vote to change it.
Yeah, but she's going to make repairs and live there. So she's not selling right now. Otherwise, we would be on the market. So that's different. Then you're going to make the repairs when you're ready to make them, when it's more suitable for you. And I would say also during maybe seasonal, right? Because if you're going to be painting your home, you're going to want to do it maybe in the springtime where it's comfortable for the painters and it's going to dry.
It's funny. We at my house in the entrance, we have a little courtyard, and on one side we have a fence where our gate where the hardware broke, so I need a repairman to put on new hardware. The other side of the courtyard never had a gate, so we got like a metal fence to block it off, so we could let our dog out into the courtyard to run around a little bit. So I got the handyman to come to do the fence because that's broken. And we really need the gate for security. It's good when people come up to the house, they have to get into a gate. The side gate, really, it would cost, so we fixed the one gate for $100. And the fence kind of works a little clunky. But to put a new gate would cost today about $1,000 between the gate, the installation, and everything. And I don't want to enjoy this house. I'm trying to get my wife to say, let's move to Florida. So I'm wanting to fix things in repairs, but I don't want any more enjoyment here. I want to get out of here. So that's a whole nother story. But I deviate. Sorry, guys. But that really gets down to, are we going to get the value out of the property because they put another gate in? No. Would we enjoy having a gate? Maybe. I'm not $1,000 worth of enjoyment for that. The dog can sit with the other gate. We'll just make that work.
Yes.
Okay, I think we kind of went a little long today, but any last words, Gustavo? Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah. There's as rates change, there's a lot of advertising out there of rates. So again, as I'm on the phone, people will say, well, I saw something being advertised at 5.5 or lower, and I always ask them, where, and I check it out myself. And I want people to be careful of the advertised rate. There's usually disclaimers, and there's usually, you need to put down 20%, 25% down. You need to have, they're charging you 2 points, right? And then there's additional fees. And because of that, now your rate is going to be so low, right? So, just be careful of that when you're reading and you're seeing these rates out there, because once you call them in, of course, their whole thing is going to be trying to get you to pull credit. Once they pull credit on you, they're going to feel like you're already gave them personal information. So it's always good to check. It's always good to, like Bill said, give me a call as well, but it's always good to check and ask them and what kind of scenario, look for those disclaimers, because I keep seeing that a lot where buyers are telling me that they're looking for this rate because somebody else told them and they told them they could get that. So just be careful of those advertised rates.
Such good advice. I saw a rate that was advertised that was ridiculously low.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a real estate agent saying, hey, even though rates jumped up, you still can get a 30-year fix. And he gave the rate that maybe you could get today for an adjustable mortgage, but you can't get a fixed rate at the rate that he was quoting. Yeah. And I know it's a large independent brokerage that I know the owner personally. In fact, the owner had interviewed me to be a manager a while ago. And I reached out to the owner and said, look, this is obviously a lie. It's obviously illegal. There's no way that he is able to offer that rate. And I'll be glad to pay $100 to your favorite charity if I'm wrong, if you agree to pay $100 to my favorite charity if I'm right. and it was just interesting that, he didn't want to respond. Now, to me, that's admitting that you're wrong. You're running ads on low rates. And that I think there are lenders who have not done the hard work and are desperate to get this done. And as a result, we'll say things to generate business that aren't true. That's why it's important. That's why we work with Gustavo. Of course, if another lender had 3.5%, we threw Gustavo off like he was a rapper on a candy bar. Of course, we get rid of him, right? But we can't because he's good and he has good rates. So we're stuck with him, for better or worse.
Yeah.
So no, we like him a lot. I tease. Patricia, any last words? Any last before we wrap up here for the holiday?
Yes, I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of what Gustavo was saying. We are real estate professionals and working actively every day. We see different scenarios and opportunities. And, if you're a buyer or a seller and you're just thinking different scenarios in your mind, maybe you want to strategize something with a buyer, or you want to sell your property and you're just not sure about the value and you want to really get an accurate opinion, just give us a call. We're here to help. And I usually answer my phone, unlike Bill, he's usually off after a certain time. So, we're here to help and give you, the best possible answer that we can, because we are in this business every day. This is what we focus on full time. We're not part-time real estate professionals. We're here full time. And some of the top concerns are, for home buyers is anxiety, locating the right house at the right price, finding someone that's really going to guide them honestly and with having their best interests at heart. Yeah. So that's what we do here. This is a free seminar that we host every Wednesday, and it's just providing information, and there's never any kind of obligation. So reach out to us at any time. And I'm going to throw out my phone number right now because I know that's usually what we do at the end. So my number is 323-365-9909.
Fantastic. Well, and my last words just be happy holidays, whether you're Jewish and so enjoying Hanukkah like I am, or celebrating Christmas, or just an end of the year,
Yeah.
or whatever it is you're celebrating. Have a great holiday with you and your family and your loved ones. And we'll be here next week. We'll be here next Wednesday because this is all we do. This is our business. We're here to help you guys. Reach out anytime. Thank you all for participating. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
guys. Have a great holiday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.